Hi friends, Dean here with Escape to Gaming. Thought I'd come back finally and bring a video. I've been just a lot of stuff going on and some new improvements with my career. I've been trying to fine tune and get that kind of on autopilot. My wife is doing much better. Thank you for all of the people that have commented on my community post and what have you. I appreciate a lot of the people that had heartfelt things to say about that and well wishes and that kind of thing. I really appreciate it. She's doing much better. She just had another MRI yesterday, kind of keeping track of some of her damage and stuff, and this has been a nightmare. But her vehicle, like I mentioned in my last video, came back. It looks really nice and looks as good as new. So things are going in the right direction anyway with that. So again, thank you very much for your concern. Game-wise, I'll show you some things I picked up. This is kind of one of my last big packages with my friend Jeremy. I thought the last one was going to be it, but I thought I'd order one more. A good size one, a few $100s worth of stuff here, probably overall. Start off with some of the games. Now these are things I've got locally, but I pre-ordered the Aliens Dark Descent game. Did it for the Xbox just because I've already maxed out my 5 terabytes of hard drive space on my PS4 Pro. And I've still got some space left on the One X for right now. And this is one you can play later on the Series X eventually when I get one. Aliens Dark Descent has gotten pretty good reviews, had some performance issues and bugs, naturally, like every other damn game that comes out nowadays, but I'll play it eventually. I'm kind of waiting for them to clean up a lot of the bugs. It has had a lot of bugs, but it also is getting a lot of good positive reviews for the most part. So these games, you've got to kind of pre-order, especially these focused entertainment games, because quite often, I mean, the store got like 2 of these that were pre-orders, and that's it. They didn't even have any like random copies that they could put on the shelves for sale. So these are bound to go up in value. That's why I order most of these $30 and $40 games. They're kind of cheap, especially by Focus Entertainment, but they're extremely limited print runs. So you want to kind of jump on those if you care about physical media anyway. I know it's just a licensed key or whatever, but it's still nice to have it. You can sell it, well, you can't on some of these new games, which I'll get into a little bit later here. But so I got this Aliens Dark Descent picked up. Now I already had Destroy All Humans. I pre-ordered the special edition of this. It came with a little statue and a lot of other art and stuff. I wanted the new one, but initially I was going to have to get a PS5 or an Xbox Series X just to play it. Well, the 27th of last month, they finally came out with a Destroy All Humans 2 playable now on the PS4 Pro, or you could have got it for the One X as well. And so it's nice, since I had the first game for the PS4, I wanted the second one as well. This game looks just as good as it does on the PS5, literally. I mean, I can't tell the difference. So to me, it doesn't have the multiplayer I could care less about anyway, but it was cheap. It was like 30, 40 bucks. I mean, really dirt cheap. So I'm happy to have this in the collection. Part of my big box collection things from my friend Jeremy, he found a few games for me, not a whole lot, but some good ones on my list. This is one of the last PlayStation 3 games I'm going after, which is Ridge Racer 7. Kind of an annoying commentary that you hear throughout the thing with this chick on the back that like drives you nuts. I remember Mark at Classic Gamer reviewed this, and that was his biggest complaint. It says she doesn't shut the hell up. You're racing, but still it's nice to have, as I have all the Ridge Racer games. This is the last one that I was missing. I finally got the first Risen game, Risen 1 and Risen 3. I had found Risen 2, a special edition of it myself, but now I finally have all of the Risen games, which is nice to have the full collection. So this is kind of what you'll see a pattern here. I'm kind of wrapping up a series of games that I was missing 1 or 2 of each thing. Rise of the Argonauts was one that I saw. My friend Jeremy did a collection video of his Xbox 360 games. This is one I hadn't heard of, so I went ahead and added it to my list and found me a nice copy of it. Thanks, Jeremy, for finding me. Again, these are all complete with the booklets and disc and everything. And one that I remember hearing about this when it first came out, and then I completely forgot about it. That's Jurassic The Hunted, which is a really cool kind of like the Turok game on the Xbox 360. The reviews aren't that great of it. It's kind of a short game too on top of it, just 2 or 3, 4 hours, I think. But it looks pretty cool. Anything with dinosaurs, you can't lose as a shooter. It's kind of a neat game, so I'm happy to have that one. Jeremy hooked me up with, he had an extra copy of Sleeping Dogs, which I had made the mistake of getting rid of this game that I had pre-ordered at launch. So it's nice to have it back, even though I have the remastered one for the Xbox One X. It's one of the only games I have for both systems because I love the game so much, so I have it for the PlayStation 4 and the One X. But I wanted the 360 version as well, just in case, 'cause at least this one I know I can play offline. Down the road, can I play the PlayStation 4 ones or the One X? God only knows. The last game, Jeremy got a really good deal. He found 2 of these identically for $25 each. He was gracious enough to sell me one of them for exactly what he paid for it. And that's a special limited edition Brothers in Arms Hell Highway. Big, kind of like a thick box. Has a plastic sleeve, and then it has underneath, you can open it up, it has this thing up. Comes inside, it has the original game, which is nice. This is a special Best Buy exclusive. Comes with a mini Prima strategy guide included inside, which is interesting. So it's nice to have this, and that's a, you know, I already had the game, but it's not, I wanted one of these special edition deals. Came with like a really cool special edition or limited edition that came with this really cool little doll or action figure, I guess. It's kind of one of the guys that's in the Brothers in Arms game. I don't know which one it is. Comes with a nice carbine rifle, 1911 handgun, some grenades down at the bottom. Really cool. It's a nice package. So I'm really happy to have this. It's rare that I kind of go after these kind of box sets. This is kind of a neat one. I like collecting, especially if they're World War II games. I really like having something special about them. So this was a really nice, I didn't even know they had these. Jeremy had told me about it, and I was thrilled to have it in my collection. No, it's not wanting to go back in here as typical. And I'll put it together later. And then I have some guides. This was one that I just recently found the game for the original Xbox. That's Batman Vengeance, and I got the strategy guide as well for it. Very cool. Happy to have this. This is a guide I've never seen before, so I'm like, well, I'm trying to get most of the Batman guides. I'm only missing a few. And then my friend, my good friend Justin from Tennessee, he knew that I had this, and he found me, happened to go to the game store. He goes, Dean, I can get you the other matching one for the, what's it called? The Rise of Sin Tzu. I said, oh, that'd be awesome. So he hooked me up with this. Really nice deal. Thank you very much, Justin. This is a great strategy guide. These are fairly thin, but they're just nice. It's nice to have these in the collection. I came out with, I already had the Mass Effect guide, and I had Mass Effect 2, but I was missing the third one. So Jeremy found me a really clean, this is a thick book too, nice Mass Effect 3 guide. Really good thick guides. Now I've got all of these game guides for the Mass Effect series. Now that I have the, I think I have the Mass Effect for the One X special remastered box set, which I'm really happy to have. I love the Just Cause series, and recently my wife had ordered me through eBay Just Cause 3 or through Amazon, I think. So I got the Just Cause 3. I had my original from when I pre-ordered it, Just Cause 2 guide. Now I get 3, and I was asking Jeremy, if you see one of the original Just Cause guides that was on the original Xbox and the Xbox 360, that I'd love to have one. So he found me one of these as part of my big purchase box here. So now I got the original Just Cause guide. It comes with a massive map, I think, as well, like a poster inside. So now I've got all of these for the collection for my Just Cause. One of my favorite games, my God, I bet I've had well over 100 hours in Just Cause 2 alone. The third one I've been playing recently and love it. I'm pretty far into it, maybe 5 or 6 hours into it, but I'm really having a good time with it. Recently, I had already showed, I got this Saints Row the Third. My friend Justin found me this a while back, a couple months ago or so, I think. And I've been looking for Just Cause 1 and 2. They're kind of getting expensive, the guides, because you don't come across them very often. And because they're kind of favorite games, the original Saints Row 1 and 2. I've had a hard time finding them locally. Well, my friend Jeremy found me, when they come with the posters as well that came with them, the Saints Row 1 guide, and I've got the Saints Row 2 guide. So it's nice. It comes with a really nice big pull-out map with all the city locations, and the same thing with the other one for Saints Row the Second. These are games I recently got for the Xbox 360. My good friend Steve Baker in Sacramento had sent me the first Saints Row game, and so that kind of started me on this quest to get all the Saints Row games for the Xbox 360. I had already had the Star Wars Force Unleashed guide. I found this myself a long time ago, and my friend Jeremy found me a really nice official game guide, collector's edition, hardbound, of the Force Unleashed 2, which is quite nice. So it's nice to have these. This has got on one side, it has for the Wii, and you flip it over the other way, and it has the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. It's kind of nice that they have kind of two guides in one. So I've got those. Now the first Crisis guide, he couldn't find. I got the Crisis Remastered recently, and I've been wanting the guides for that game. It looks like a really cool FPS game. That's one that I would like to have the guides to kind of find everything and know where everything is. The first one is kind of getting hard to find. You can get it on eBay. It's still available, not overly expensive. But I had found Crisis 3 recently at my local game store, really cheap for like $5. So I bought this, and then my good buddy Jeremy found me Crisis 2 finally. So now I've got the second one. I'll probably go on eBay or Amazon and pick up the original Crisis, which was more of like a PC game guide back then. So that's pretty much it for the few things that I've picked up recently. That's it. I'm going to be kind of slowing down on the purchases. I might get like a game here or there, a guide here or there, you know, whether it's off eBay, Amazon, or locally in my little retro place. But for the most part, I'm kind of done looking for spending, you know, $200 like I did for this last box of games and guides. You know, you can spend a lot of money on this stuff, and at a certain point, you got to kind of wrap it up. And then occasionally, if you come across something, you can splurge and spend $10 or $40 or whatever. But I'm kind of winding down now in the collection. Really happy with where it's at right now. I've got pretty much everything I want, which is nice. So it's nice when you realize you really don't need anything else. You know, is it nice to get new stuff? Certainly, but you really don't need it. You get at a certain point, you got to be careful with your finances. This is a tough recession we're going through. A lot of people have really paid the price, and so we want to be careful with our money and make it really go the distance. A little sip of soda here. There's been a lot of stuff since I've been away from doing uploads. We've had a lot of, what game was it that came out with them? Oh, Alan Wake 2 game is coming out. They say it will be the first game. This is old news, obviously, but it's not going to be coming on a physical edition. People ask me, Dean, you're going to get the Alan Wake 2? No, I'm actually boycotting it. Because this is a big AAA game that they easily could put on physical. They're using the lame excuse, oh, most people buy digital anyway. They're kind of testing the waters now. What's interesting is that back in 2013, it was just about 10 years ago, we had the reveal, the big Xbox One reveal event for the new Xbox One console, which went over like a lead balloon. Don Matrix, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, told people, hey, you know, it's not for everyone. If you don't have internet, well, then you can just play it on our 360, you know, which is an offline, you know, component, basically a big middle finger to people that don't have the latest console or don't have the greatest internet. So I boycotted the Xbox One from that day on. That and the Force Connect. I mean, there's so many things about that just $100 more than the PS4, everything about it. But the thing that was interesting is that gamers made a stand. At the time, the Xbox One was going to have a thing from Microsoft where you had to be online all the time. And they wanted you to buy the games either digitally or you get them. There's no way you could trade the game in. There's no way you could play it. They wanted to control the whole thing. And gamers just pushed back on that. And they had to quickly change in their mind with the Force Connect. They changed with the always online, where they had made it to where you could just every once in a while it could update and you eventually get your patches, you know, turn on, it comes on the internet maybe once a day or something, you can get it. That's reasonable, I guess. But gamers pushed back on the physical media where they were pushing digital games. They said, no, we want our ability. And remember, Sony was kind of right in their face with it, like, oh, here, you want to try, I can give it to my friend here if I want, I can sell it, I can throw it in the trash, do what I want with it. And I liked that. I thought that that was a fair way to go. But see, there now, ironically, this game, what was the other one? There's another one recently that's coming out. Oh, the new Starfield game. What's interesting is that both studios are owned by Microsoft, part of their acquisitions. And so look what Microsoft is doing. Exactly 10 years later, they're coming back, and both of them being Microsoft studios, and they're slowly kind of pushing this digital only. Well, I didn't even know about this digital only on the Starfield. They're going to sell you a game case, and in the game case, it's going to have a code. You won't even get a fucking disc, just a code. So you're going to pay for a piece of plastic, and then it has a code that you download. So basically, you're stuck with it. You can't sell it. Just like buying a digital game off from the Microsoft store. Now, I have no problem buying digital games. I have a lot of them, but they're indie games. They're games that they don't have physical copies of. So, you know, some of these little, really fun little games. In fact, this 40K bolt gun is a digital-only game. They'll probably come up with a special limited run or one of those 8-bit, you know, outfits that makes the physical copies down the road. If it sells well, they might have a physical copy. I probably would buy it, as long as not from limited run, I won't. But if it's from one of the other companies, I will. If not, it's a great game. This bolt gun I've had a tremendous amount of fun in. It's a really good return to like an old school shooter, like a lot like Doom, but with more modern controls, like the Doom 16 thing. So I don't like that they're doing that, so I'm boycotting Starfield too. You say, oh, Dean, it's going to be a great game. Yeah, it may be great, but we have to make a stand. Now, I know I'm in the 2% that'll actually boycott it. This is the problem, is that gamers don't push back anymore. They did 10 years ago, so it's either the newer gamers or slowly, it's like the frog that slowly is getting boiled to death. You put him in a thing of cold water, he swims around, he's happy. You put him in a thing of boiling water, he'll jump right out. But if you put him in the cold water and slowly turn the heat up until he gets used to it, you can boil a cocksucker and put him to death. I mean, that's basically what they're doing with the physical games. They're going to try to get rid of them. So I have to. Now that's for me. If I'm not pushing that on you. If you want to get the game, I know many of you are excited for Starfield. I understand. Believe me, I get it. Just like I know you're excited for Call of Duty Warzone, a lot of these big, MMO deals. I understand. It's not something that I would spend my money on, but if you enjoy online gaming or enjoy, because it's a convenient thing to buy your games digitally online, I understand. Not all of us have everything physical, but I have to make a stand that no, I'm not going to have this. You can't do this. Now, if they push this on, because soon it could be virtually every game coming out for the PS5 or for the Series X. Right now, it's again Microsoft studios that they own are pushing this digital only thing. I'm pushing back. So I'm boycotting Starfield and I'm boycotting Max Payne 2. I don't care. I don't care how great they are. I don't care how wonderful the graphics and the expansions are. It's just not for me. If they change their stance on it and it comes out with a physical version, even if it's just a license on a disc, at least that I own and I can trade it in. I can sell it on eBay, whatever. Like I was saying, some of these early Focus Entertainment games, Necromunda or Hired Gun, games like that are going up in price. And you can sell them on eBay for, $60 to $80 or $100 or whatever. Down there, at least you own it. So you can sell it if you want. You can give it to a friend. You can trade it in a GameStop and they'll give you, $5 for it or whatever. But bottom line is it's yours to do with what you want. But if they give you a digital code only, you're screwed. So you got to decide, are you going to push back or are you going to cater to this? Because if you do, you're opening the floodgates and this is going to be the new world. So, and I'll bail out. I won't get a PS5. I don't care how great the graphics are. I got enough games, believe me, enough games to where I don't need to play the modern consoles. I'm just fine with it. I can go from here back and play everything that I own. All my PS4 games I can still play. Hopefully down the road, maybe I can, jailbreak my PS4 and PS3 and then play all of those games offline, with somehow hang on to the patches and updates for them. Again, there's a lot of question marks. I'm not a techie guy, so I don't know how that can be done, but there's a lot of people that have already jailbroken PS3s and PS4s, and they're talking about that they'll be able to jailbreak the PS5 at least. So at least we can own those games and hang on to the things we have bought digitally or otherwise. Again, sometimes I have physical games, but I buy the DLC expansions, and those are things you have to get digitally online, unfortunately. I went to get I was going to buy the, what the hell was it? Fallout 4 Game of the Year edition. Oh, look, it comes with all the DLC. You know what it is? It's the exact same vanilla game that I bought, but it has a slip of paper with the codes on it that you can download digitally. So you're not even getting it all on disc. It's bullshit to me, but, it is what it is. So sadly, I'm not going to be getting those games. And, again, I can't tell you you're going to do what you want to do. If you want to play Starfield, go ahead and get it. But some of us have to make a stand, or this is the future. They're going to own everything. A lot of people, they don't care about it. I have over 5,000 DVDs and Blu-rays and VHS movies. I have over 5,000 films and TV shows. I own them. I can play them now. I can play them 20 years from now. Not just when Netflix has it on there, or Amazon Prime, or HBO Max. And I have all those streaming services. I mean, I could just as soon pull out my Blu-ray or DVD of one of the one of the movies that's on Netflix. Besides, it is convenient. Oh, look, they're going to showing this. It's uncut. Yeah, I'll watch it. It's convenient. I don't have to even get up and get the DVD and put it in the machine. So I understand that. Recently, I was out doing a cabin for a week up in the mountains, and I didn't know that I was going to be cut off from the internet. I didn't know. So I said, just in case, they more than likely have, because it's a vacation rental, they probably have a flat screen TV, which they did. They had a nice Sony Vizio TV with really good quality, but it had like an old DVD player and even an old, it was kind of like a DVD and a VHS machine, probably God knows how old, from the 90s or how old it was, or maybe early 2000s. But I brought my own brand new Sony Upscaler 4K Blu-ray player, and I brought a whole bunch of Blu-rays, and I'm glad that I did, because we were completely cut off. There were no streaming out there. You couldn't talk on the phone, nothing. So every night we watched movies. It was wonderful. We saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I had Ford versus Ferrari. I had a lot of good movies. So it's nice to have physical things for a reason. A lot of you guys don't get it because you're younger and you just don't care. A lot of the younger gamers just don't care. They're used to everything being digital and streamed. That's their world. Someday, though, they're going to remember back to certain favorite, whether it's a film or a game that they played that they loved, and God, I wish I could play that game again, and it's going to be gone. Right now, they just said recently 87% of all games, that's it, they're going to be gone forever. So if you don't own them physically, you're going to be fucked. And the gatekeepers that have all these, Microsoft, they're going to control everything. Oh, you want to play the old games? Well, you got to pay our service, to play our things so you can play them. And, so you got to use their cloud system or whatever. So even now, I play Xbox, and Xbox games you can save on the hard drive, but the Xbox 360 games you have to save up via the cloud thing and all that, which sucks. I'm just really not a big fan of it. But anyway, that's my 2 cents on that without flogging a dead horse on it. But it just drives me nuts. The minute I heard that about Max Payne 2, looks like you play as a black FBI woman in the game on top of it. You probably won't even play as Alan Wake. It's just more of the, let's tick off all the female protagonists right down the line, and I'm just already seeing it. We already saw it with Control, another female protagonist, For the female gamers out there that are finally happy to have games with women in them, believe me, I get it. And we need to have both. Or have a game like Far Cry 6 or 5 where you can play as a woman or play as a guy or whatever. It's nice you have the option at least. So I'm not opposed to female games, just not ones that I would buy with my money and play. I can't get immersed in them. It's just me. Otherwise, there's a lot of good games coming out. I'm excited for the future. I'll probably try to get a PS5. I was going to get a Series X initially. Now I'm going to get a PS5 because my hard drive is maxed out, and I've deleted over 20 games from my hard drive, external and the external one and the internal one, just to make enough room so I can have rooms for save files and all that. So every time I want a new PS4 game, like this Destroy All Humans, I had to delete a couple games so I can download that new one on there, which drives me nuts. But with a PS5, I could take some of those games and play them and put them on that hard drive, which is limited. That one, at least you can buy the Samsung hard drives or whatever and upgrade them. I don't know how much. I need to do some more research on it, but at least there's options there. So I'll probably get a PS5 since the bulk of my collection is on the PS4, and I have a much smaller Xbox One collection. But I would like to have both consoles. They are kind of the last of the, and even those, you know, the new Sony's got a new PS5 that won't have a disc DVD drive in it, but it will have a provision, a port that you can plug in with a USB or something, an external little DVD drive thing. So it's nice that they have the new option. Probably for the new Slim, I think that's what it's going to be. So I'm going to hopefully try to get a PS5 that has the DVD drive built into it. There still could be a supposed PS5 Pro. I don't really see that happening. That was more to accommodate the 4K TVs at the time. I don't feel the need to upgrade to 8K, you know, TV or DVDs or Blu-rays or whatever. So I'm perfectly happy with my 4K TV. For me and my living room, it's more than enough. I'm paying, recently we're going to get this thing, it's almost $5,000, but our house, unfortunately, if you've seen some of the pictures of it, it's got a wall of windows. It's got 13-foot ceilings, and it's just a giant wall of windows. So the western, when the sun goes down, it floods the afternoon, and you get beautiful sunshine, which is really nice. It makes it very pleasant in here. The problem is the TV's facing the window across the room, and even though it has a really good non-glare screen on it, you still see the reflection of all the windows, and it's almost impossible to play a game in here. Now I can go into the guest room and I've got a 43-inch, really good. It's an 8000 series Sony. It's a second to the best Samsung in there. That was my recovery room for 8 months. I lived in there after I had my back surgery, so I went and bought a nice TV just for that room. So we actually have two guest rooms. I've got a 4K TV in each. 40-inch in the main guest room, and then the second guest room, which is my recovery room with a day bed, I've got a 43-inch 4K HDR TV in there. So plus I got a 55-inch flagship Samsung right behind this wall here in my master bedroom, and then I've got my 65-inch one there, and then I've got an original 1080p Samsung from 2009 that was their flagship TV. That's a 42-inch one in the in my game room office out in the garage there. So anyway, that's pretty much it for right now. I mean, there's a lot of other gaming news and stuff, but that thing really got under my skin with the Starfield. I was really looking forward to that game, and then finally I saw that it wasn't going to be a big MMO live service game. So, oh wow, this will be great then. Then the minute I find that out, like the next day, I hear about this thing without even a disc, and I just said, well, I won't be getting that one, which is tragic, but this is the new world we live in. This is what they're pushing on us. You have to push back. If you don't, then you're going to always forever be a slave to letting them control you, letting them control the things that are close to your heart. I like owning my things. I like to own the book. Yeah, I could go online and see all the hidden areas or tips and tricks. You can watch YouTube walkthroughs, how you can find every collectible, how you can achieve all of the achievements and trophies and all that stuff online. But I like the physical book. And I like my physical games. I like looking at the shelf, and it helps me to choose a title to play. I could technically have a little thing in my phone with all the thousands of games that I've got, but that's cold to me. I'm an old school person. I like kind of seeing things and seeing what I can own and whatever, and that's just the way it is. I'll always be that way. But you have to vote with your wallet, and you got to tell them what you're going to put up with and what you're not. We push back on the Xbox One, and now we get an Xbox One and an Xbox One X that was very gamer-centric, a nice, powerful setup. You could play it on disc. You own the games. Yeah, it still is online, and I'm not thrilled with a lot of aspects of it, but because of the backwards compatibility, I've kind of looked the other way on that at least. At least I get some benefit with the Xbox One. But I'm really getting discouraged with this, and you mark my words, Microsoft right now, again, they're the ones pushing this, not Sony, but Sony will probably do it too. They're going to be forced to have their own game subscription service thing, like the Game Pass deal that Microsoft has, which I would never use. My friend Steve Baker says, Dean, I'll buy you a year of Game Pass. You love it. I said, that's very kind of you, but I'll never use it. I just won't use it. I'm not interested. I'd rather have the game. I like the investment of spending the money and owning the game, whether I paid $12 for it or 60, 70 bucks for it. I just like owning it. I feel that I have an investment, and I've never rented a game in my life, and I never will, but that's me. My friend Jeremy rents them from GameFly. He plays them, and if he likes them, he has the option to keep the game and buy it from him at a discount, which is a good deal. I like that service. I think for him that makes sense. For me, I'll never do it. But anyway, that's it, guys. Just a quick video kind of showing some recent pickups. I'm really anxious to get back to playing Dead Island 2. My wife is better now. She told me, please play your games, enjoy your games. She's telling me what I tell you to do, enjoy your games. So I've been doing that. So thanks so much for watching, and enjoy your games and game collections.